Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. I am back with the third and final figure I bought when I was on holiday. And this is the Mcfarlane Toys Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines TX Terminatrix. Yes, this figure is from the third movie in the Terminator franchise. And a movie that a lot of people consider to be the beginning of the decline of this series. And yeah, I can't argue with that. That movie had so many problems and so many issues, and I genuinely think it paled massively in comparison to the prior two. It felt cheap. There was some good elements. The ending was interesting. The kind of twist ending I thought was interesting. I thought Nick Stahl was an okay John Connor. Arnie was just there for a paycheck. God love him, I love Arnie, but I definitely think he was just there for a paycheck. It was an incredibly expensive movie, but it looked so cheap. So I reckon a lot of the money went to Arnie. If I'm not mistaken, he asked Jim Cameron if he could star in it, and Jim just said, yeah, do whatever, just make sure you get as much money as you can. So he obviously did. As a result, I think the film just looked really cheap. The other thing that had potential that I thought had some good moments was the TX or Terminatrix, played fantastically by Kristanna Loken. However, they really done some silly juvenile shit with her. For example, the scene where she's pulled over by the cop and she makes her boobs bigger to distract him, or where she finds the blood sample from John Connor, licks it and almost orgasms. I was like, really, it was really fucking juvenile. And it sucks because you had the potential for a really interesting, cool kind of villain. She was kind of a hybrid between the T-800 and the T-1000. And we kind of got more of that later on. But I think it was interesting to see a female Terminator in the series. And Kristanna Loken done a fantastic job at that. Not as good as Robert Patrick. I don't think anyone can top Robert Patrick or Arnie in the first movie, but I think the bar had been set so high by Patrick that you couldn't really follow that. But there was some cool moments. I did like some of the kind of cheeky moments she also had, but they did do some silly shit with her. But I digress. Let's have a look at the figure. So, unfortunately, guys, this is not in a collector-friendly box, and this is a 20-year-old figure, so I'm going to be in pain opening this, but I think I am, because, you know, I don't really have any space in my walls, not to say I have space in the shelves, but I'm going to open it and maybe keep the packaging somewhere. But yeah, really cool kind of box design, kind of clamshell design. You have the TX here. If I'm not mistaken, I also have the Cemetery Terminator, and his packaging was in red. So any stuff to do with Arnie's Terminator in T3 was red. Anything to do with the TTX was in blue. I was going to say T-Rex. The Terminatrix was in blue. So there you have the image of the TX there. Is it just me, guys, or did she kind of remind you of Syl? I don't know. When she's in the endoskeleton form, sometimes she kind of came across as Syl. But maybe it's the visual effects for the time. But I digress. Moving on, here is the figure in the bubble. And it just shows the accessories she comes with. She's got like her laser hand, a pistol, a base, body and hand. And just says Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Flip it over to the back. It shows all the figures in the line. You have the Terminator with coffin, T850. I have that one. I have her now. I do not have the TX endoskeleton or the T850 Terminator. Very hard to get, and there was two variations. There was one with shades and one without shades. Although I always thought they could have put removable shades on it. I'll just quick read of the blurb here. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. The next phase in the Terminator franchise is here, and it holds the fate of all humanity in its hands. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, one of 2003's most anticipated films. Oh boy, if they only knew. Is accompanied by official Mcfarlane Toys action figures, each stunningly detailed to be accurate to the film. Figures are fully articulated. No, they're not. That's They're not fully articulated and include accessories and bases. Yeah, if you're getting Mcfarlane figures, early Mcfarlane figures, you're essentially getting glorified statues. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is essentially a glorified statue. There is no articulation in the legs and very limited articulation in the hands and arms. But yeah, guys, I am going to pause the video here. And I'm going to take this out of the box. And I might be weeping as I do it. So you don't want to see a grown man weep. So I'll be back in a moment. Stay there. I shall be right back. And we are back. And I have the TX taken out of the box. But before we actually look at the figure, I'm going to show you something that was kind of fairly standard with Mcfarlane figures. They had a kind of catalog built in to the packaging. So when you took the kind of in-sleeve out of this, you got essentially kind of a catalog. So obviously here was the sleeve that was for the figure, but when you open it up, you got like this little kind of catalog on the inside. So that was cool. I actually saw that as well. That was the final battle, Terminator Last Battle. In addition to the standard T3 lineup, don't forget 12-inch large-scale T850 Terminator action figure features accessories, base, and film sounds. And the deluxe box set End Battle. That was the endoskeleton versus a very fucked up Arnie. TX has internal blue glow light. Lets the TX... Oh, that's Spanish. Okay. With simulated crash lighting. Again, really cool. What else did they have? They had the Soul Calibur figure line. They had Ivy. They had Voldo. They had Necrid. Nightmare. I don't know who the other fucker is. And moving over, what have we here? Twisted Land of Oz. These were cool figures. Because I remember there was a very, very risque version of Dorothy in kind of bondage form. Mcfarlane's second monster series is based on L. Frank Baum's novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Classic characters in the book receive a bit of a twist in the series of artistic interpretation of what could have been the alternate Wizard of Oz universe. The Scarecrow and the Lion and the Woodsman. They don't show Dorothy, but I'll actually put a picture up on the video there. So that's kind of the catalogue that came with it. But to the main event, to the Terminatrix herself. So first off, let's have a look. And again, these figures they say fully articulated. That is absolute bullshit. They're not fully articulated. They have maybe a couple of movement in the hands and joints and stuff. But the arm can kind of move. The head can kind of move. I will give it this. The face sculpt is nice. They did do a really good job of getting the likeness of Kristana Larkin really well. And the detailing on the suit. She takes this kind of upscale kind of high kind of highbrow suit from a woman who is unfortunate enough to pull up in front of her when she arrives. And yeah, that's really cool. The eyes are cool as well. They kind of, whoever done the paintwork kind of gave it such a thing that it looks like it's glowing. But the suit is really nice. The pantsuit and the folds and everything. And just the heels, the metal heels. Again, no articulation on the legs or knees. Just check. This arm looks like it can be articulated, but I'm not going to risk it. The head can kind of move. The head can kind of move. But she looks a bit derpy. She's like, "Arr." So it's meant to be posed this way and this way. Now, the accessories she comes with, first off, and I'm going to try and remove this hand. Hopefully it won't break the figure. Gotta be very careful popping it out. So you can switch it out for this laser. Lasers, freaking lasers. Yeah, she was the first Terminator to have onboard weaponry. And I think if, this is a super deep cut, but the weaponry she had was so powerful. In the comic book Eyes of the Rise, Skynet tests her out fighting a T-1000, and she absolutely makes shit of it using the cannon that's built into her hand. I finally got it in. That's what she said. There she is with her laser cannon. And like, it's not even when it's in good nick. This is when it gets mangled and she has to turn it into a kind of flamethrower. But she does also come with another arm. As I said, I'm going to try and be careful getting this out and putting this other arm in. Now, you kind of have to be careful with this, guys, because the Mcfarlane toys, they were fairly brittle. So here she is with her other arm in there. I'm trying to get that. There we go. There she is with her other hand. And that is for holding this pistol. This is the pistol she takes off the cop she kills. So, can we get her into a cool pose with that pistol? Maybe get the hand into it, or not. No, she can't even put the hand into the base and make it look like she's holding it, which kind of sucks. Hey, again, it's grand. You can get one decent pose out of her, maybe two, but it's a nice looking figure. It's a nice looking figure, but the articulation is what really wrecks this, because articulation wise, there is none. There is no articulation. And I'm not going to bitch too much about it, because this is a 20-year-old figure from Mcfarlane Toys, and they kind of dropped the ball, and NECA beat them to the punch. And that said, NECA aren't fantastic either. Their figures can be a bit on the fragile side, but you know, this is what we had back in the day, and this is what we enjoyed, and this is what we collected. She comes with one other accessory, just like the Terminator with the coffin. She comes with a base, a display stand, and I think this is from the cemetery as well. I think this might be the headstone that Arnie put her through with the rocket launcher. And it goes on to the two holes here, so I'm going to see if I can pop it in and get her to stand. Hopefully I can.
A few moments later.
I've kind of gotten her to stand into him, but it's a bit of a struggle. I'm not going to lie, lads.
2,000 years later.
And we are back, and I've kind of gotten her to stand into the base, but looks like she's hovering. Again, I like this figure. I like the look of the figure. Aesthetically, it's cool, but it's definitely what you would call a product of its time. So I'm going to pause the video, guys, and when I come back, I'm going to put her next to some other Terminator figures I own, and we'll see how she scales up and how she looks in comparison to them. So don't go anywhere. I shall be right back. And we are back, and here is the TX in my alleyway, and I'm going to put my Terminator Dark Fate Sarah Connor next to her to do a bit of a size comparison. Again, this is a NECA figure, so we'll see, can you do a bit of a mix and match with NECA and Mcfarlane? You probably can, but just see that they match up well. And they do. They do. You can work and put them side by side, and they work. Next, I'm going to put my Terminator Genesis T800 Arnie next to her. And yeah, although he seems a bit small in comparison. I don't know, maybe. Hell, I think I have more hunch than anything. But yeah, she's cool. She's nice. The design is cool. But I think this is for a very niche, diehard fan and collector if you're going to get this. I got this cheap inside the shop. I'm going to have to do a bit of foostering with the display base, try and get her to stand. Luckily, her heels are so pointy that they go through the base of this. So that's how I have her standing at the moment. But yeah, again, a nice looking figure, but articulation-wise and posability, very, very limited. I mean, little to none kind of posability in this figure. But I still like the look of it. And I think Kristanna Loken done a good job with what she was given. And it was a big deal. It was the first female Terminator until Sarah Connor Chronicles came along. Which makes me wonder, guys, which is your favourite female Terminator? Is it the TX or is it Cameron, played by Summer Glau in the Sarah Connor Chronicles? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think of this figure, guys? Do you think it's nice looking? Do you think it's a glorified statue? Would you get it? Would you not get it? Is it something that you'd think about picking up? Are you a fan of Terminator 3? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.